Hi, good morning, hello. My name is Onyinye. This is my first time reading a Stephen King book, and I'm going to be reviewing this fat book. Why I decided to take this book was because I was looking for a good book to read in the library, and I just saw it. It looked very nice. There's something about the book, the bulk. It's like a chubby baby, and the color just feels very cozy. So I just took it up and I was like, oh, Stephen King. And I know Stephen King from it. So yeah, that's pretty much why I decided to read the book. The book is about a man-made plague that wipes out 70% of the population. A plague that is 99.9% communicable. Then it wipes out 70% of the population. Then the remaining population are now left to fight between forces of good and evil. My first impression on the book was I was pretty amazed to see a Stephen King book in the library. I was like, okay, popular author, I must read this book. My first thoughts in the book was that waiting this up. Like the book was just very detailed, and he was not leaving out anything. That was when I read. It said for the first time, complete and uncut. So this is the whole book without trimming some parts. He said that in the preface or introduction. Yeah, he did say that before you buy it, you should know that. Oh, yeah. I think that's a very vital part of this book because it was very expository. Everything was very clear. That's pretty much why it's fat. Like he did not leave out any detail or gap in the storytelling. You know, sometimes some authors try to finish the book or try to make it succinct by leaving out something. He did not leave any stone unturned. We were talking about 15 characters at once and their whole trauma or their upbringing or their problems or he was talking about all of them. And this guy is very rude because Jesus Christ. Do you know that do you know the amount of brain power you need to have to pull that off, for goodness sake? It was pretty interesting. Even the science part, he got to a point where he was talking about how the human body is a battery on its own. When Glenn Bateman, a sociologist, he just went off in this book, if I'm being very honest. He did. My favorite character was the dog. Why was it the dog? That's very weird, I know, but every human character that I ever doted on or liked actually fell my hand at some point. Like the deaf mute Nick sleeping with that Julie Laurie was just something that I did not expect him to do. So, and Stu Redman, I don't know, it was just something about him eventually because he was a man of few words and then all of a sudden he was a man of many words. I was like, okay, who kind of transits into this supernatural, theological kind of theme, which took me on a very big surprise. It was crazy. Even these biblical facts, he was saying that the commandments all boils down to thou shalt not steal, because if you kill, you're still alive. If you covet your neighbor's goods, you're still. It was mad. It was a roller coaster ride for me reading this book, and I kind of wish I could wipe my head and go back and read it again. Although some parts were kind of very strong themes, and you'd see a lot of people go crazy literally in the book. But it's a very nice book. And I'm actually very surprised that this book is not very popular among all those themes up there. Because I know if you read a lot and you listen a lot to people talk about books, I've never heard of this book before. Never ever in my life ever heard of this book. So it was kind of a bummer. Yeah, well, I was beyond shocked to find out that people are not even talking about this book, which is not even nice. So, but I'd recommend this book to anybody that just likes a good read, stimulate your brain, cliffhanger, whatever. This book has it all. So yes, this book is a solid 9 out of 10. 1 out of 10 is that I really don't like themes that are too strong in a book. I read books to escape reality most times. So oftentimes when I read a book and I am seeing what happens in reality, it's too real for me. I don't know. I'll outgrow that definitely. But that one out of the 10 is basically the fact that the book was very real. Like it dealt with how normal human beings would react to different things in real life. Like if a plague comes upon us right now, you would see the different ways different people would react to that. You'd see it real in this book. Even when you have to choose between forces of good and evil, or choose to go back to God, your heart to repentance, you'd see how it plays out in this book. So this book is very real. It's fiction, but it's very real. I'm really glad to read it, and I don't know what I'm going to read next, but